Hello, everyone. This is TradePilot, bracket automation for TopstepX. Let me walk you through it. Once you've installed TradePilot, you'll see this icon on your desktop. Double-click on it, and TradePilot will open. You get two options to connect. First is with your username and API key, and second is Dry Run. Dry Run lets you skip the login and explore the UI without accidentally placing any orders on TopstepX. If you try to place an order in Dry Run, it'll tell you it's a dry run and nothing will happen. You can also create your presets while in Dry Run, so everything is set up before you go live. Let's go back and connect with our username and API key. By default, both fields are hidden. Click the lock icon to reveal them. Let's connect. Next, select the account you want to trade on. For my example, I'm going to use my practice account and press Connect. I like to keep TradePilot on the right side of my screen, with the chart on the left, so I can see both at the same time. At the top, you'll see the version number and this green heartbeat dot. Hover over it, and you'll see your API connection speed. Green means the connection is strong and orders will execute quickly. If this turns orange or red, your API connection is slow. I'd recommend not placing any orders at that point, because there will be lag between TopstepX and TradePilot, and your orders won't fill at the price you expect. Next is the on-off button. If you turn TradePilot off, you won't be able to place any orders. It'll tell you the bot is off. There's also a 2-second cooldown between orders, so you don't accidentally press the button twice and get duplicate orders on TopstepX. Then you have the Always on Top toggle. Because I'm trading TopstepX in Chrome, I want TradePilot to always stay on top of Chrome so it never gets hidden behind it. If you don't want that, you can turn it off. The Help button opens the documentation page, where every parameter is explained, plus an FAQ at the bottom. The Watch Quick Start tutorial link takes you to our YouTube playlist with video examples. The Tooltip button controls those pop-up hints. If you hover your cursor over any button, it'll tell you what it does. A good way to learn the UI without reading the docs. Turn it off if you don't need them anymore. One important thing. Make sure the account selected in TradePilot matches the account you're viewing in TopstepX. Same for the instrument. If your TopstepX chart shows NQ, make sure NQ is selected in TradePilot. Otherwise, you'll be placing orders on a different instrument. You can refresh the instrument list here, and you'll also see the tick value displayed. Now let's talk about presets. This is where all the magic happens. You can sort your presets by alphabetical order or by most recent. I'm going to delete my existing presets and start fresh so you can see the full setup process. When you first log in, the preset section will be empty. Let's build our first one. I like to name my presets with the instrument, contract count, stop loss size, and the SL method, so I can tell at a glance what each preset does. You can enter values in ticks or points. If you select points, all values represent points. In my case, I like trading NQ in points. You'll also see what one tick equals in points right here. For this preset, I have 6 contracts. I'm going to add 4 take profit levels. TP1 at 20 points for one contract, TP2 at 40 points for 2 contracts, TP3 at 60 points for 2 contracts, and TP4 at 80 points for one contract. My stop loss is set at 6 points. For the stop loss method, I'm going to start with simple mode. In simple mode, your stop loss moves to break even after a specific TP is reached. In this example, when TP2 is hit at 40 points, my stop loss will move to my entry price. So if price reverses after that, the worst that happens is I exit at break even. Now, the offset. If I have an offset of 2 points, instead of moving my stop exactly to entry, it will move 2 points above entry in the direction of my trade. This covers my fees. You can set this to whatever you want, or keep it at 0 for exact break even. I'm going to set it to 2 and save this preset. Now let me place a market buy. As you can see, we got our first TP at 20 points, second at 40, 60, and 80. If you add up all the contracts across the TPs, that equals your stop loss contract size, which is 6. And as soon as we hit our break-even TP, the stop loss will move to break-even plus offset. One thing to note about simple mode. Once the stop moves to break-even, it stays there. It won't move any further on its own. If you want your stop to keep moving as more targets fill, that's where smart mode comes in. Let me change my preset to smart mode and keep everything else the same. I'm going to save this preset. Now let me close the current position. I can either click Flatten All or close it directly on TopstepX. It's closed. Now with Smart Mode selected, let me place a market order. With Smart Mode, the first part is identical to Simple. When TP2 is reached, your stop moves to break even plus your offset. But here's where it gets better. When TP3 fills, your stop loss automatically moves to the previous TP's fill price, which is TP2. So now your minimum locked-in profit is TP2's price. Each target that fills pushes your stop higher, like a staircase. It only goes up, never comes back down. You're locking in more profit at every level, automatically, without touching anything. Lastly, we have the runner. I like to use smart stop loss combined with the runner. When you enable the runner, it takes over the last TP slot, in this case, TP4. Let me explain how this works. We have 4 contracts with 3 take profit levels at 10, 20, and 40 points, each for 1 contract. The 4th contract is the runner. Let me place a market order. When TP1 fills at 10 points, you're down to 3 contracts. When TP2 fills at 20 points, you're down to 2. When TP3 fills at 40 points, you're down to 1 contract. Now normally, that last contract would have a fixed take profit at 25 points. But with the runner turned on, instead of exiting at a fixed point, TradePilot sets a trailing stop that follows the price. You set 2 things in your preset, the trail distance and how often it checks. In this example, I have trail set to 10 points, checking every 2 seconds. So every 2 seconds, TradePilot looks at where the price is. If price keeps moving in your direction, the stop moves with it, always staying 10 points behind. But the stop never moves back. It only moves in your direction. Now, what I'm doing here is manually moving the stop loss away from the take profit levels as they get hit, just so you can clearly see the runner in action without the stop getting triggered early. In a real trade, your smart SL would be handling this automatically, stepping up to each previous TP level as we showed earlier. So watch the runner now. Price is moving, and you can see the trailing stop following it, always 10 points behind. The longer the move runs, the more profit you lock in. Eventually, price reverses, hits the trailing stop, and you're out, with the extra profit most traders leave on the table. The runner is how you catch those big moves without sitting there manually trailing your stop. Now let's talk about limit orders. You have 2 options, set price or offset. The way I like to trade is with an offset. If I set the offset to 50 points, my limit order will be placed 50 points away from the current price. Then I can manually move it on the chart to exactly where I want my entry. For example, if I want my trade to trigger at this level, I just drag the order there. When price reaches it and TradePilot takes over with my preset. Same thing for limit sell. I'll set it 50 points away, and we get the limit sell. If you want an exact price, right-click on the chart, copy the price, then right-click on the price field in TradePilot. It will paste automatically. No need for Control-V. One important thing about presets, they are live. So even if you haven't hit save, whatever is showing in the preset panel right now is what TradePilot will use on your next order. For example, if I change this contract count, or remove a TP, or turn off the runner, and I press Market Buy without saving, it will execute with those updated values, not the saved preset. You can see it right here. I had 6 contracts in my saved preset, but I changed it to 5 on the fly. And when I placed the order, it went in with 5 contracts, and the runner is gone. This is actually useful when you don't have time to create a new preset. Maybe the market is moving, and you just need to quickly adjust your TP or contract size before the next trade. Just change it in the panel and go. But if you want to keep those changes for next time, make sure you hit save. Otherwise, next time you load that preset, it'll go back to the original saved values. Flatten all closes every open position and cancels all orders instantly. It's your emergency button. Emergency break-even moves your stop loss to your entry price immediately, useful if price action changes and you want to lock in break-even right away. At the bottom is the log. All your activity is recorded here. Entry prices, exit prices, everything you need. If you run into any issues, keep the log visible, then click the Bug Report button. Describe your issue and press Send. we'll receive it and look into it. If you clear the log before sending, we'll receive an empty report and won't be able to help. You can show or hide the log anytime. That's everything you need to know about TradePilot. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Discord. Thank you.